This video is a review of the Apex Action Enhancement Kit for the Glock 43, 43X, and 48. This trigger is not compatible with the PSA micro dagger. The kit includes a flat face trigger, a trigger bar, and their performance connector. Utilizing the stock trigger internals, this kit will not affect the reliability or safety of your Glock pistol. Both the trigger bar and connector have a nickel Teflon coating for an extremely smooth, consistent trigger pull. Nickel Teflon is also very resistant to corrosion. I'm a huge fan of nickel Teflon coatings. I personally have a handgun slide finished in the nickel Teflon, and it's the smoothest racking pistol I own. There's little to no resistance while running the slide. The kit is fairly easy to install. All you need is a Glock punch tool and you can have this thing installed and reassembled in half an hour. I was a little nervous to install it myself, but it was a super simple task. If I can figure it out, you can too. Follow the tutorial from Apex and you'll be good to go. As long as you remember to lubricate the spot where the trigger bar makes contact with the connector, you can't mess this job up. It is a direct drop-in replacement for the OEM trigger and does not require any special fitting to install. This kit is also fairly inexpensive. You can pick it up for the low cost of $70, and it comes in a handful of different colors to match your build. This flat face trigger kit provides a cleaner break over the stock trigger. The Apex doesn't drop the trigger weight, it just makes the trigger smoother and reduces the overall travel. I also find it easier to get a consistent trigger pull with less travel. I can keep the sights on target a lot better with this flat face trigger, with less overall movement in the gun while shooting. It doesn't dig into your finger while you're shooting, causing discomfort. I find the small ridges on the stock 43X trigger to be very annoying and discomforting. After long shooting sessions, it can be painful to shoot. I feel like I'm not fighting the trigger to break, causing the gun to move less. My stock 43X trigger felt like it had a 6.5 or 7 pound trigger pull straight out of the box. It did get a little better after a couple thousand rounds and lots of dry firing, but it still wasn't perfect. I do prefer the Gen 5 Glock trigger over the slimline trigger. I think the stock Gen 5 triggers are a lot better. I don't feel the need to swap them out. Maybe I just got unlucky with my slimline, or I got lucky with my Gen 5 trigger. The Apex trigger is very comparable to the trigger on the Shield Plus. The Shield trigger is slightly lighter than the Apex, but it's not a huge difference. I find that I am more accurate and consistent with the Apex compared to the OEM slimline trigger. The more accurate you are, the more likely you are to hit your intended target, keeping others safe and keeping you out of federal prison. The Apex Action Enhancement Trigger Kit is a great upgrade for your slimline Glock. It really does make a big difference while shooting. For $70, it's a great deal. If you thought about swapping out your stock trigger, I would highly recommend looking into the Apex kit. You won't regret picking one of these up. Compared to the OEM trigger, it's a night and day difference. I never thought I would swap out the trigger on one of my carry guns, but I'm happy that I did it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any thoughts about the Apex triggers, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear about it. I will respond to every single one of you. Thanks again.